America is now going to be.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Check out Netflix.
Putting OPEC to the side.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to RT2CC Comic Club. Justin here, and I know I filmed that first clip really early this morning, and now it is almost midnight, so apologies for that. I'm trying not to film too much during the day because I have a tendency of filming a lot, and it just makes videos really long, editing a nightmare. I mentioned this before. So we're just going to get into it. Stocks did well today, very well. Dow finished up 212 points. And I'll post a screenshot and you can see how the Dow did, the NASDAQ, and all that. Just some of our top positions, we had Amazon gave us a gain of 2,900 today, and then our Netflix, which was probably one of the biggest percentage gainers today because obviously of the earnings. So they did very well, and then Google also did well for us. The thing that's annoying again with TD Ameritrade is I can't tell which options actually changed in price in that day because my Ferrari calls is still showing that stupid gain. It's showing 50% right now, but again, that was from the last time it was traded, and I wish it would just show zero like Scottrade did because it's hard for me to tell which ones actually moved. But I can pretty much figure for the most part the big names that are being traded a lot are the ones that moved. So yeah, so it looks like Google had a 37% increase for us in terms of our options. And yeah, so I'm going to go down here to the losers, talk about some of the ones that went down. By the way, our Apple stock is getting dangerously close to the strike, so that covered call that we sold on Monday is really close to hitting that strike, so I'm thinking I might just buy that option back or just let it go, sell my Apple shares and then wait for it to come down. Hopefully it will come down and I can just rebuy it and then start the process over again of selling covered calls because I love doing that. So in terms of our losers though, we had Align Technologies, Stamps.com, Weight Watchers. Again, I'm not really concerned about those long term. So let's just go into the articles because there's some pretty exciting stuff going on. Obviously Netflix had their earnings. I talked about it last night though, so really nothing new with them. Jim Cramer was talking about why they're doing so well still. It's because their content is just that good and you get such a good value for the price, and I agree with that. I've said it before. For between $8 and $13 a month, you can get like just everything that they have, which is an amazing amount of content. So I'm beating a dead horse at this point. So let's just move on to Amazon. Amazon launches an international shopping experience in the Amazon shopping app. This is pretty huge. Customers across the globe, and I'll put links in the description for these, by the way. Customers across the globe have the ability to browse and ship over 45 million products to their country through the international shopping experience. It's available on iOS and Android. It's available in 5 languages, including Spanish, English, Simplified Chinese, Brazilian, Portuguese, and German, and 25 currencies, including Chilean peso, with more languages and currencies to be added in 2018. I'll be really, really excited if they start accepting cryptocurrencies at some point. I think it's been rumored that they would a long time ago, but no one has been able to verify that as far as I know, but that would just be incredible. So this one kind of gives a recap. This one's called After the Bell. Dow gains 212 points, and it's not just earnings. They talked about the S&P breaking a 6-day losing streak during the last hour of the day, which is very good. They say keep an eye on FedEx because they're going to be reporting earnings soon, apparently. But yeah, so you can have a look at that. Again, this is old news by the time you're watching it, but so I apologize. But yeah, so they said, NASDAQ was kind of helping Netflix was helping the NASDAQ and the FANG stocks go up. It says Goldman Sachs fell 1.6% as bank stocks continue to drop after reporting good numbers. And that happens sometimes. Companies will fall in stock even though they report good numbers. And I think a lot of it's just because people have really high expectations. But that doesn't mean that the company themselves are doing bad. So I focus on whether they're beating revenue estimates and profit estimates. If they're doing that and their guidance is still pretty decent, I look at that as a positive, even if their stock goes down afterwards, which it sometimes does. But yeah, so that's something to consider when you're looking at earnings, because earnings can be confusing, like, to say the least. So again, but really, in my opinion, the bottom line is the company doing well? Is it strong? Is it growing? Is it investing, expanding? If it is, then I wouldn't worry too much about it. So that is that. This guy says the market breadth is one factor. I don't know what this guy really meant, but he said, but as we have been pointing out, the technical underpinnings that revolve around breadth like BREADTH, and sentiment are also a major factor. I'm not quite sure what he means by that. So I'll just have to keep an eye on, I'll have to read this article later on, and you can read it too if you want. But anyways, 2 more articles I'm going to talk about, and that's it. In one chart, this one's called "In One Chart, the VIX says the stock market low may be in." Man, I hope this is true, because this article talks about how the VIX, usually measures volatility and consumer, like investor sentiment and fear and all that stuff. And this guy said, basically in a nutshell, that the S&P 500 retested its low, and the last couple times he's seen that happen, it, like, within 4 or 5 months or so, it hit all new highs again. The only time it didn't do that was in 2008, but that was kind of a special exception, he said, because it was like a global financial crisis. But he said 1998, it happened when it retested the low. It went up in 2010, 2011. It saw additional volatility before setting new highs. This guy Dwyer is his name. I don't know. Let's see, find his full name. Tony Dwyer from Canaccord Genuity, I think. Yeah, so that's what he's from. But he studies the VIX and all that stuff, and so he's basically saying, absent of a yield curve inversion that shuts down credit, each intermediate term correction feels like the fundamental backdrop is at risk, only to ultimately realize that positive fundamental influences that drive our core thesis still exist. Now, in a nutshell, like, just to briefly summarize that, the positive fundamental influences a lot of people are referring to as the fundamentals of businesses and companies. So basically, is their earnings strong, consumer sentiment going up? Those are like the fundamentals that drive the economy. So if those are doing well, they're saying that the highs will come and that the market will prevail. And he said those core fundamental factors this time around include solid global growth, positive domestic activity driving earnings per share, a pickup in capital spending, real household median income jumping with strong employment, and a demographic-driven push to higher home ownership. And so he says that's what's happening now, and that should drive the stocks higher in the long run, which I really, really hope he's right, because we need to come back. we took a big hit in February and March. So last one, what does this breakout stock have in common with Netflix, Nvidia, and Grubhub? And this company they're talking about is Planet Fitness. Now, it's funny they mentioned that, because like just recently, 2 of my friends that have mentioned that they were either thinking about joining or have already joined. I was driving to tutoring someone the other day and saw they were building another Planet Fitness. I just happened to catch my eye that I saw it. I think it's just getting more popular, and more people are joining that. So it's kind of funny that I saw this article. And so I'm going to be looking out to buy some calls for Planet Fitness in the near future, as soon as I can get some free capital. But this is saying that one of the things it has in common with Netflix, Grubhub, and Nvidia is rising ownership by mutual funds and other institutional investors. And so he says that 28 funds with an A+ rating have reported a position in Planet Fitness, while 253 A+ funds own Nvidia. But yeah. Oh, and Planet Fitness and Nvidia have both posted 8 consecutive quarters of rising fund ownership. So yeah, so that's really something to look out for. And I'm going to be keeping an eye on Planet Fitness. So with that said, if you like this video, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to keep an eye on these stocks and see how they do. Hopefully everything can kind of return to normal and start that climb back up, because we got a long way to go before we can hit back to our all-time highs. So crossing fingers. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow.